nowadays people are more supportive. It's more acceptable. There's less ridicule because of all the TV shows, all the academics that are now in support of it.
Yeah.
The guy that I interviewed last told me it's almost like a pop culture thing. It's kind of cool to have a sighting now and to go public because Bigfoot is popular now.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, it was not like that. So
Yeah, it's definitely, and like I keep hearing more and more like since then, your ears are open to stuff like that after you're, exposed to something. And I'm just like, well, it's everywhere. But yeah, like I talked to a couple people and I decided that it was all good to share the experience.
I'll see if this is better here. Hold on. All right. Okay, so I'm recording. What I'll do again is I'll ask you, where was this? When was it? What were you doing? And can you remember any details of what it looked like, how it behaved? What did you do? How did you react to it? And don't add anything extra. And then at the end, I'll have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready.
Okay. So just wanted to stop with that. So you said you're gonna ask me, so I don't want to go over anything that you're gonna ask me ahead of time. So what did you want me to start out with?
What I'll do, I usually come up with questions after I hear your encounter. So
Okay.
sometimes they're different questions depending on the encounter. So
All right.
just tell the story and kind of where it was, when it was, what happened, and then any details, but don't add anything extra. Then at the very end, I'll have a couple questions.
Okay. All right. So this happened on Monday, not this most recent Monday, but the one before that. I was going out to metal detect and mudlark. So I like to go through the creeks and look for bottles or other pieces of pottery and stuff like that. But I also have my detector while I was out there. And I went to a friend's house and we were going to the creek behind the house. And it was a good little walk to get down there, kind of thick to get down there, but just a normal day. Um, One thing that I realized is we started out a little bit too late. So by the time we made it to the creek, it was already kind of dark because we were down in a very deep, like holler, I guess you'd say. And so I had a headlamp, but he didn't even bring a light with him. So it was basically just me with a light, and he had his phone flashlight, which was not really bright enough to shine out or anything like that. But we were still going to go out there and look and see what we could find. And so we get down there to the creek, and it's like a limestone slick bottom creek. And there were some areas where like some rocks would build up that we could search there. But it was kind of the steep place where we were at to go down into it. And so I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, how are we going to climb out of here when it's time to leave? Like, this is going to be kind of difficult. But we went down there and it was like there was a waterfall, and at the waterfall it was we could either go right, but there was a deep pool that way, and I thought, like, I don't want to be wet at night, so let's go to the left and we'll explore that way. And so we were going that way and everything was fine. I mean, I heard some dogs at the top of the hill at the very beginning of this, but we'd have to walk about 100 feet before you'd find anything in the creek, and it seemed like nobody had been there for probably like 100 years or so. Like, it just like not really touched by humankind is how this area felt. And everything was all good and normal, and I hear this noise, and it sounded like a little bit of a rustling or commotion. It wasn't anything that scared me, but I just thought maybe somebody was over there. It was enough to get me to take that headlamp and shine it in that direction to see what it was that I had heard. And it was a rock that was like, that was not the sound. This was after the sound. It was a rock that was like, I don't know, 40-pound rock. And it was thrown up into the air. Like, I don't know if it was like underarm granny thrown or, I don't know, but a human being could not throw a rock that size that way. And it went up into the air. And I'm just going to guess it was like 80 to 100 feet up into the air. I don't know. It was far up into the air. It arced up and it came down in the creek in front of me. And it didn't hit me, but it was in my direction in front of me in the water. And my first reaction was to turn around to my friend and say, "Did you do that?" But I knew, like, my brain wasn't thinking at first because I watched it arc up before it came down. And there's no way that he could have done that in front of me when he was behind me. And he's looking at me like with wide eyes and he's like, "No, you know." And I was like, we're lost. Cause I'm thinking, like, is it the property owner from the other side, like, and they're trying to run us off? And do they, and I'm like, the first thing that I could think to say was, "I'm sorry, we're lost. We're getting out of here." So we had planned on where we went into the creek. It was too steep to come out. So we knew where the barn was, and we were going to come up behind the barn and go up to the hill. We didn't make it to the barn to get there. Before we got to that barn was when the rock happened. So I was like, "We got to go back. We got to go back." So we end up getting out of the creek and taking a different path back up to the house. And I mean, it was thick overgrown. If something was aggressive, if something was after us, it would have got us. Like, we, you know what I mean? Like, here I was already talking to it out loud. I was, taking my time trying to figure out how to get back up the hill. So it wasn't that anything was out to hurt us, but there were never any lights. There was not a human, like, there was not a person there. Like, so I didn't know, I'm like, what could it be? And of course, Bigfoot kind of crossed my mind because I'd heard story like that. I don't know. Like, I think I'd heard something about a rock throwing before. It's actually a fishing video that I'd watched, and he claimed that there were rocks being thrown, and that's not what it was. He tells later on what it was, but that's the only thing I knew about anything about a rock throwing situation. And as I'm going back up the hill, all I could think is like, that was not human. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't know what it was, but I know what I saw. And there was no doubt about it in my mind that it arced up before it came down. And it was so far up in the air. I mean, no human being could possibly throw that rock that way. And so then we sat there and we tried to figure out, like, what did we see? Like, because he saw the rock too. He saw it when it hit the water and all that stuff. And he was just behind me, so he didn't have the light. He wasn't in control of that. He may have seen less of when it arced up than I did, but he definitely saw it when it came down and hit the water. And the only other thing that I can say is post this happening, um, I recalled that earlier before we went down the hill, there was a sound that I heard, and I said, "What was that?" And he was like, "Huh?" And I said, "It kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but I said it kind of sounded like somebody like was blasting, but it didn't have the oomph behind it. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a big loud sound." So, like, since this happened and since I looked you up and since I started watching some videos, I've tried to figure out, like, was this a tree knock? Because it was a loud sound, but it wasn't like a boom. Like, I mean, I don't know what that sound was, but the sound could or could not be related to it. I'm not really sure. But we heard that before I actually traveled down the hill, but I didn't piece that together until afterwards. And I was sitting there thinking, like, what happened? What was going on? What was that Bigfoot? What was it? But although I didn't get to see what threw the rock at me, I seen the rock plain as day and the trajectory of it, and know for a fact it was not a human being.
Yes, I I muted my mic to see if it would help, but I don't think it helped much. But
Did it mess up? Is it still messed up?
it was okay. We got the picture. There's not many other things that could have done that than a Bigfoot. You even said a person couldn't have done it because the rock was too big.
Yeah.
And if,
I did forget to tell you where. I
oh
didn't
yeah,
tell you where.
where was it again?
So this was in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Okay. Do you know? Can you share? I don't want you to give away your honey hole, but Frankfort, Kentucky. Is there someplace nearby where this happened that you can share? Kind of,
Sort
or
of.
you can just keep it.
Um,
You can
I
keep
mean,
it
it's
in house.
near the Kentucky River, but it wasn't on the Kentucky River.
Okay, that's okay.
Um, okay.
Yeah, 'cause I know if you go fishing there, you don't want other people in your
Yeah, I mean,
fishing
yeah,
spot.
it's surrounded. It's all private property that's around there, so it's not somewhere that publicly you could go and get into. But
So, have you gone back there since?
I have not. So what I first said when like when I was talking about it the next day was like, I'm not going back down there. But then I've changed my mind on that. I've decided that I'll still go back down and go to the creek, but I'll go to the right side. I don't know. I mean, maybe I just don't know enough. But I felt like what my gut was telling me when I left there was I was being told to get out. Like it was, like go away. Like was what that rock throwing was to scare me off to get me. Like I wasn't a threat to them, but go away. So I felt like if I go back down there and I go back that same direction, that I feel like I've already been told once to get out. You know what I mean? Like, don't be messing with it. And I don't know because I'm not. I don't. I haven't had all these years of research and looking into this stuff. Like I've had a week of looking up stuff, and I did speak to a friend of mine who has had sightings and knows stuff, and um, he was telling me that like a lot of times if they get seen they move on. I don't know if that's true. I don't know any of that stuff. I've only been speaking on the factual stuff that I know, what I saw, and now what I felt. And what I felt was that it was a like a warning, like a go away, like you're not welcome here, like just move on. So I feel like almost like I'd be disrespectful if I go back and put myself back in that location exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a warning. It
Yeah.
was it's protecting its territory.
Yeah.
Um, so, uh, if it wanted to hit you, though, it could have hit you with that rock. And
I believe that too. And I also feel like that's why I said I didn't feel like it was aggressive because we gave them plenty of time to come and get it. You know what I mean? Really, but just my communication of talking and us having to figure out which way was the best way to get out of the creek, and then trying to get back to the house because it was not our path we had gone before. So I had a map on my phone that I'm trying to use the last like 15% of battery on, trying to make sure that we're still in the right spot to get back towards the house. And but there was just enough time there that if something wanted to get me, it would have got me.
yeah, I agree. They usually don't hurt people, um, but you could go back in the daytime, maybe, and
You know,
the daytime's safer. Plus, you can look for the rock, maybe, or you can look for tracks
yeah,
where you think it was standing and look in that area.
yeah.
Since
Well,
it's
I know based on like I'm huge on maps because I metal detect and I'm looking for places to detect all the time. And so like I'm really, really good with my maps. And I've looked at my maps and that with my memory of what happened, and I know where it was standing. Like you know what I mean? Like there's no doubt in my mind that I could point it on a map and I could go to the spot where it would have actually thrown the rock from. And then I know where the rock would be. Is it there like by itself? Did it land on a pile of rocks? I don't really know, but I do know the spot where it would have landed. I've thought about going down there. I just don't know. I don't know. I've convinced myself to go back down because I do have a YouTube channel and I am going to tell my channel about it. And I was not really finding enough stuff to record a video at the time. And then obviously I wasn't going to record it the time that it happened because I was just trying to get out of there. That's all I could think of at the time. But I have thought about going down there, tell the story, and just kind of show like this is where it happened, and explain that I don't have footage from that night, and just this is my side of the story. Choose to believe it, don't believe it, doesn't matter. But I'm just telling you, what I witnessed and what I know is true. Like,
yeah, that would be great. And what I could do is I could link your channel to ours and link
okay,
that video, the video you make. I'll link it to this one so people can then go to your channel and watch it.
yeah.
Um, but
And I'll do the same thing. I'll bring people over here because there may be some people that are like, "Well, I've seen something." You know what I mean? Like they and they may, want to come and check out stuff here or just be interested in it. And Want to see what you
Yeah,
got going on.
yeah. There's more people now that are curious about it and open-minded about it.
Yeah.
And it's only been a week, so there could be tracks. I know we've gotten a lot of rain
Yeah.
everywhere, but you never know. There still be tracks there. Um, but yeah, I would go back in the daytime. With maybe bring somebody with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I
And
go back down, I'll definitely be going with the friend whose, property I was there. Um, but I mean, he didn't even think to bring a flashlight. So like how safe do I feel with the friend? I'm just kidding. But
yeah,
I was the more prepared one. I was the one who had water, had brought water with me, had the flashlight, so but I don't know. I don't I don't think that like it would hurt me if I went back, but then again, I think like I said it was a warning to go away, and then it's like, oh, I'm still curious. Here I am peeking around some more. Like, let me record this time. And I don't know.
well, I will tell you, I've I've got a lot of encounters of rocks being thrown in the same areas by different people,
No,
and totally unrelated. People don't know each other, years apart, in the same creek, in the same exact area, years apart.
yeah,
I got one where a gentleman came up to me. I did a library presentation and I was finished. And people come up and talk to me. And he waited. And finally, he came up and talked to me. And he said, do you know where so and so creek is? And I didn't because I was new to the county there. I didn't know the creek. He goes, well, I was catfishing late at night in a John boat, and someone or something was throwing rocks at me, and they were splashing all around my boat. And I would shine my flashlight up, and I would yell, "Hey, stop doing that!" And nobody would answer. It would keep doing it. So I left. He goes, "Do you know what? A year later, an entire year later, the same exact spot, because it's a cove. It's like a He says it's a really good spot off the creek because there's a nice big cove there. And it was the same spot. The same thing happened to me a year later.
yeah,
So don't be surprised when you go back, something throws rocks again,
yeah,
as it could live nearby. And that could be its honey hole, where
yeah,
it goes for water, goes for food, takes a bath, who knows what. And I have found a pattern with these sightings or encounters with the rock throwing thing. Typically, the rock throwing thing, um, to be honest, if it's random, you don't hear it, you don't see it as much. The trees get pushed over more so than the rocks being thrown, you know. But all the ones I've documented are in the same spot. You know, could be a year later, it could be years later. The
yeah,
other one I'm talking about in the Red River Gorge was years later by different people. And then we even went back and we did 3 rock clacks because, if you clack the rocks, it's the same thing as tree knocks, and they use that to communicate. So we did 3 rock clacks, and we got a return knock
oh,
on the ridge above us. Daytime,
yeah,
middle of the day. It happened.
yeah.
It's on my YouTube channel. You can
Well, I
go
mean, I
find
could
it.
definitely do that even, like, I don't know if I would get a knock back, but even if I were to never go back to the creek, I'm still gonna go back to the property up the hill, you know what I mean, where that's where my friend lives, you know what I mean? So we might be able to try to, like, get a communication. I don't know, like, I mean, I didn't even think about that, but, um, I'm definitely not scared to go back to that spot. I don't know if I'm scared to go down the hill to the left again, but, maybe. I'm not sure, like, it's
Well,
yeah,
bring
what were
your
you
son
saying?
with you,
Yeah,
and try to go down to that spot if you can and do a video, like you said. But when you're walking down there, the video, have your friend hold the camera or whatever when you're talking, and then pick up 2 rocks good sized rocks, big ones, and do 3 rock flats.
Okay.
Sometimes they break. You got to get two more, but
Yeah.
your friend record it and listen. It might take a minute or so. Sometimes it's immediate. And try that when you first get down there. Try it,
Yeah.
and then when you leave, try it again. Because after you're there for a while and you're talking, um, if he's there, he might be alerted and he might come over some and pay attention. And so try it a couple times.
Okay. Yeah. I think we
Then
could
you'll
try that.
know. If you get a
Yeah.
return knock, you'll know.
Yeah. I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably run up the hill after that.
Yeah.
But so I have my proof, but okay. But it might take me multiple times to get more brave. But yeah, I mean, I would be willing to try that to see. But it's funny you mentioned the tree, like knocking trees over. That makes me think like of so I've always been out. Daytime, nighttime doesn't matter. Like I've before I got into metal detecting, it was fishing, and like I've been fishing since I was 4 years old, and then as an adult, like I'm fishing around the clock and stuff like that. I have a little John boat and it's just a little 10-foot John boat. And I was out on Taylorsville Lake in the middle of the night. There's not a soul out there. There was nobody at two of the other um, docks, like nobody else was parked out there. There was just no sounds. I'm just out there fishing by myself. And I mean, I heard trees get knocked over. And there wasn't raining. It hadn't been raining before. Like there was nothing that I could think of that would make trees get knocked over in the middle of the night. Like, you know what I mean? Like not like a soft ground. But I've heard that out there on that lake for sure. So I don't know if that's what that was or not, but I mean, I definitely have heard trees knocked over from Taylorsville Lake before.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're going to think I'm making this up, but I'm not. Taylorsville Lake, there's a lot of reports around that lake. I did one for the BFRO of a hunter in a tree stand, saw Bigfoot walking on the other side of the creek twice, a year apart, same area. And then we found a dead coyote when we went there. It was literally, gosh, just a couple days after sighting, and we crossed the creek, and there was a dead coyote with really no signs of trauma to it. So we don't know what happened with the coyote. Did the Bigfoot kill the coyote, or was it natural causes? But it was a coincidence that he just saw Bigfoot, and then there was a dead coyote. But another story on Taylorsville Lake, it's an older one. A police officer was fishing in a cove off of Taylorsville Lake. It was at night, same thing. He was with a buddy of his, and he said it sounded like a bulldozer coming through the woods off this ridge, just pushing trees and
Yeah, I've heard that
just
out there.
yeah, like a big commotion.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing. He yelled, say, "Hey, we're fishing down here. Whoever whoever that is needs to stop. I'm a police officer. Blah 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 blah." They kept doing it. They kept coming. He kept breaking branches.
Sure.
He was shining his flashlight, could not see it, and they finally left that area. That's an older report. If I could find it out it's on my website. It's one of the
After
old
all
ones
my
that I
codes
have
in
posted
Taylorsville
up.
Lake had the exact same experience. Sorry to talk over you, but I mean, like, I've been out there and heard like a tree or two fall, but I've heard like sounds like they're like logging. I mean, not logging, but like mowing it down, like you said. Like when I was in a cove on Taylorsville Lake in the middle of the night fishing by myself and heard that. Like, I mean, I've never heard a landslide or anything like that, but it was not like, I mean, it was just like trees downhill. Like, I mean, and I had a flashlight and shining over there, and I was like trying to figure out what was going on. And there were some birds in the area, and they all left that area. And like, I don't know. So it could have been the same code for all we know. But
Well, it's a long time ago. Again, I typed the report up probably under Spencer County. So if you're listening, anybody else listening when we go live or I post this, go to KentuckyBigfoot.com, go to counties, go to Spencer County, probably is where it was, because I'm trying to think of the other counties. I know Anderson County goes kind of close to it. It could be under Anderson County, but I'm thinking it's under Spencer County. police officer fishing. I have a map. I remember I took a screenshot from Google Earth of where he was fishing.
Oh wow.
So I know I have that in the report.
Yeah.
So you can go through my
I'll go
website.
check that out. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 because I've heard that like 100%. Didn't know what it was. Didn't have an explanation for it. Didn't think of it as an encounter or anything, but didn't know what it was. But 100% have heard the exact same thing out there on Taylorsville Lake in the middle of the night fishing by myself.
yeah. They let you know. They let you know it's time to go. And when you're fishing, it kind of ruins your fishing because, especially if they throw rocks in the water,
Yeah.
you're not going to catch anything. So they know. There's so many stories about them throwing rocks into water, scaring off fishermen. It happens a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I mean, and I've fished out there a million times a night, and I can't say for sure if I've had that experience or not because I just probably wrote it off as a carp jump in or you know what I mean, like something like that. So it could have thrown rocks at me before, and I don't remember it, but I don't know that one. I don't have any definite connection to, but the trees for sure on that lake, like had that same experience
Yeah.
more than once.
Well, um, this is exciting because it's recent,
Yeah,
only a week
very.
ago. So hopefully you can get back there soon. Do a little video, do some rock plaques, and let me know what you find out.
We'll definitely do that. Thank you so much.
One more thing: if you find tracks, you happen to find tracks, right? If you take a picture, always put something next to the track as a reference.
What the size? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
or if
knew
you have
I
a
knew
tape
where you
measure,
were
bring a tape
going.
measure.
Because we identify signs in the metal detecting community. Like people will post something and say, "Does anybody know what this is?" And like if you don't put something beside it to know, like, is this the size of your hand? Is this like this big? You don't know. So I understand. Yeah, if I were to see anything like that, I would definitely have something there with a way to know what size it is. Like whether it be at last case, worst case scenario, my shoe, and then I like measure my shoe in another, picture or video of something there with it just to say, okay, it's that compared to this. I would do that just for my own, you know,
Yeah.
personal preference to be able to show how big it is. But I mean,
And
I don't know
also,
if there's tracks. I didn't look that day. I was just trying to get out of there.
yeah. Well, if you know you're going back and it just happened, maybe just bring a tape measure.
Oh yeah, you're right. Just have
Actually
it on me.
measure it with the tape measure because
Yeah, that's
there
smart.
might be a
I
good
mean, even
chance there's
the
tracks.
sewing ones are real little. You can just put those in your pocket. You know what I mean? And like it wouldn't weigh very much. And so I could have one of those like tape
Yeah.
measures to put
And
them.
then look, if you find one track, be very careful. Try to see what direction it's going. If there's a trackway, if there is a trackway, measure the stride, take video, take pictures, and if you find some good tracks with toes in them, just go get some plaster from Lowe's or Home Depot or Michaels or just plaster Paris. You can get
Okay.
mix it like pancake batter. You can use a large Ziploc baggie. Um, you can actually bring two of them, one with the plaster in it. The second one, use it to put water in it, and then add the plaster to that one and shake it up in the plastic bag, and then
Yeah.
pour that in. Uh,
Yeah.
it's easy to
Well,
carry that.
there's definitely water down there already because there's the creek, so that'd be easy as far as carrying that down. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it'd be worth going. Like, it may take me a little bit to build the courage to go to the left side. I'm not gonna lie, just because I just felt like I was being told to get out, and like, then I feel like a little kid, like, oh, I'm back, like I'm sneaking back over here, like, But I might be willing to go that way. I'll definitely talk to him and see what his thoughts on. He's already mentioned going back. Like he was all about, like, well, we could go down there. So I'm sure that I could convince him easily. It's me that I got to convince. But
yeah. I know it's
same
scary,
group.
but with
Yeah.
a friend and daytime, it won't be
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to do the nighttime thing like that again. Like the thing was, like, I know what time the sun goes down. I live way up on a hill. But so, like, I didn't take that into account that this was way down a hill, down a valley, down into a steep limestone slick bottom creek. Yeah, I mean creek. And that far down, like the sun went down way earlier. Like, I mean, it got dark down there before it would have been dark up on the top of the hill. And so we weren't really prepared for our little adventure we took that day. But yeah, I would go back in the middle of the day the next time. Like,
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. And as soon as you do your video, let me know, and I will link it up. And good luck. Be
all
safe,
right, thank you.
and thank you again. And enjoy the rest of your night. It's late; it's like 11 now, but
Yeah,
enjoy the rest
I'm
of
a
your
night
night.
owl, so it's good. But you too. Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night.